South Park just blessed us with their best Thanksgiving special in a really long time. Happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate, but man, this was a fun one. Season 28, Episode 4, Turkey Trot is an absolute banger. This episode hit me with some serious nostalgia and feels like a return to form for my favorite character, Eric Cartman. You know, everyone always raves about the duo of Cartman and Butters, but honestly, whenever he's paired with Token, it's just as hilarious.
We don't have a bass guitar.
Your family's black, Token. There's bound to be a bass guitar in your basement somewhere.
The episode also completely rage baits Pete Hegseth in the Department of Defense, or I guess the Department of War, depending on who you ask. Of course, we can't leave out how they constantly call out people who have taken money from Saudi Arabia. They even roast fellow comedians, and it's absolutely perfect. So let's jump into our episode analysis. Don't forget to
everyone like and subscribe to
hey, at least I'm self-aware about my shamelessness. Alright, here is Turkey Trot. The episode begins at City Hall, where Mayor McDaniels is holding a meeting with some of the business owners in South Park. She lets everyone know that the annual South Park Turkey Trot is just around the corner. I'm gonna be honest, I've lived in the USA my entire life and I had never heard of a turkey trot. When I first heard this term, I imagined like dog racing, but for turkeys. Then I thought about how stupid that would actually be. Well, apparently not that stupid because people actually do this. It's just a traditional race on Thanksgiving morning that started in Buffalo, New York in the late 1800s and eventually spread all over the country. Mayor McDaniels says that they have yet to find a single sponsor for this event.
Integrity Farms used to be a sponsor of the Turkey Trot, but as you know, we've recently all lost integrity.
Times are tough in South Park, and no business can spare the money to sponsor the Turkey Trot. During the meeting, we see what's become of Mr. Mackey. This is actually his first appearance since he joined ICE and got a nut. It's sad to see him working as a janitor, but it's great to have him back on the show. Skeeter mentions that there actually is someone who would be willing to give South Park a bunch of money to sponsor this event. He doesn't even have to mention them by name. The mayor instantly knows who he's talking about.
Sponsored by Saudi Arabia!
I was not expecting that at all. This part got a good laugh out of me. The commercial also mentions that the winner of the Turkey Trot will win a $5,000 prize.
Disparaging remarks towards the Saudi royal family are strictly prohibited.
So yeah, this is Matt and Trey making fun of all the people who have accepted money from Saudi Arabia recently, as well as their government, obviously. Everyone knows this country has a government with a history of human rights issues, repressing dissent, limiting freedoms, especially for women, taking away religious rights. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And yet, comedians, athletes, and other celebrities have no problem cashing checks from this government, even if it means complying with whatever propaganda they need to push to collect their money. We'll talk more about some of these people later. South Park even name drops a few of them. In the next scene, we see the boys at lunch, who are talking about the $5,000 reward for winning the Turkey Trot. They all agree that if anyone should get money from Saudi Arabia, it should be them. They start strategizing on how to win. Cartman says they should keep their team to 4 to 5 people so they don't have to split more money.
Nobody said we wanted you on the team.
Cartman defends himself and tells the boys to trust him because he happens to be an expert on race science. Yeah, nobody should be surprised by this. Eric attempts to recruit Token to their team, assuming he's the key to their victory. Because of course, black people are fast.
Black? Did you say black? You called him black?
He is black.
Token quickly shuts him down, saying he's actually terrible at running, and Eric just laughs it off because, you know, bigotry. Cartman then tries to guilt him into joining the race by saying Stan and Kenny really need the money.
And all the analytics show that with you on the team, we can't lose.
It cuts to Yates and Mitch talking about the Turkey Trot when they suddenly get a threatening call. Peter Thiel must be released from their jail or Pete Hegseth in the Department of War will be sent in. We then get a dramatic entrance from the Secretary of War.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Pete Hegseth, the Department of War!
He demands that Peter Thiel gets released from jail, and Yates still thinks that Thiel is Totoro, which is stupidly funny. Yates refuses to release him, and Hegseth threatens him while Instagram live streaming, of course. So I'll give you a quick rundown on Pete Hegseth. We already know he's the Secretary of War, but what is his background like? At heart, he's always been a politician, studying at Princeton University where he started work on a conservative newspaper. He became an infantry officer in the National Guard, then deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. After his service, he went back into politics and did some work on Fox News, and eventually he became a Trump sycophant. So now that he has power, he spends his time making Instagram edits like he's Chris Kyle or something. He had no notable achievements while he was deployed, but he definitely sees himself as some sort of war hero. Oh yeah, he's also been accused of closeted drinking. This isn't just a single rumor either. Multiple former colleagues say Hegseth was drunk on repeated occasion, sometimes so much that he had to be carried out of events. Some of them even said they could smell booze on him while he was working. So Yates isn't intimidated by him at all and just kicks him out of the station. Obviously, Matt and Trey are satirizing that Hegseth isn't the beacon of masculinity he tries to portray online. In the next scene, we see the South Park Community Center, where most people in the town are registering for the turkey trot. The boys are concerned with how many people are registering for the race, but Cartman assures them that he's been scouting and doesn't see any real threat for now. Wendy and her friends show up and Cartman laughs this off, assuming the girls have absolutely no chance.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, this was probably my biggest laugh this episode. I also like how in this scene, Trey Parker put his daughter's character with the main group of girls. I wouldn't be surprised if she got an episode focused on her within the next couple years. We then get to see Pete Hegseth doing one of his cringy Instagram edits to show how much of a badass he is. In the middle of this, he gets a call from President Trump, who scolds him for not getting Peter Thiel back yet, and Hegseth responds that he's going to need the full support of the Department of War.
I'll need all our tanks and guns and dudes!
Trump then tells him not to just make a bunch of content, but to actually go and do something this time. In the next scene, we see the town getting ready for the big race. A news reporter is interviewing people and he goes over to Cartman to talk about his strategy using race science. Cartman explains that nowadays a lot of people are trying to debunk science, like how vaccines cause autism and jet fuel leaves chemtrails, but when it comes to racing, science is science. Cartman goes to meet with his team and to his surprise, Token isn't there. Apparently, Token made the political decision to not involve himself with Saudi money. So Token is ethical enough to turn down their money, but people with a $500 million net worth aren't. Pretty interesting. Eric leaves to go find him, and the mayor starts her speech before the race, introducing the event sponsors. Meanwhile, Hegseth is scouting the town and gives a line that also competes for the funniest of the episode.
Holy shit, we've got an Antifa uprising!
He tells his soldiers that the town is starting an insurrection, but nothing is going to stop them from getting Peter Thiel back. Cartman shows up at Token's house to confront him about dropping out of the race. Token is playing Arc Raiders. I've seen this game all over, but I don't really play shooters. My taste in online games looks more like this, but I do know viewership-wise, it's the most popular game of the last month. I guess you guys can tell me why it's so popular and whether it's good or not. I'd bet money that it's what Trey Parker's playing right now and why they put it in the episode. Token explains to Cartman that taking Saudi money just doesn't feel right. Eric replies that Saudi Arabia is just trying to be progressive.
Do you want Saudi Arabia to just go back to cutting people up and paying Kevin Hart?
Oh yeah, name dropping Kevin Hart. So I actually have some strong opinions on Kevin Hart. Sorry if you're a fan of him, but I'll start by saying he's actually performed in Saudi Arabia a few times now. This dude will literally say yes to any type of job. He literally stands for nothing except for work and money. I mean, when was his last good movie? The only thing I see him in these days is when I'm watching NFL and he's in every other commercial pushing gambling apps on people.
Would you do an ad for hell if the devil paid well?
Would I do an ad for hell if the devil paid well?
My channel name is Armchair Analysis, but I'm also an armchair psychologist, okay? You notice how he repeated the question? He didn't just straight up say no. He didn't straight up just start bursting out laughing. He had to think about that one, okay? I don't know about you guys, but I think it's at least a 50-50 chance on this. Cartman goes on defending Saudi Arabia to get Token back in the race.
If Saudi Arabia is out paying for sporting events, they're not out hacking up reporters and inviting Pete Davidson to come do comedy.
Yeah, Pete Davidson, the comedian who lost his father in the 9/11 attacks. You know, the most infamous attack in American history where 15 of the 19 hijackers were confirmed to be Saudi citizens. I hope the $500K was worth it, buddy. Cartman continues giving examples on how Saudi Arabia is changing by telling Token that since 2018, women are now allowed to drive there and that it's basically a lesbian utopia now. How progressive. Token isn't budging because he has brain cells, so Cartman steals his Xbox and Token follows after him. Meanwhile, the turkey trot is getting started and the mayor fires off a blank to signal the start of the race.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Hegseth goes into full content mode, saying they're under attack by liberal terrorists. He starts giving orders on how they're going to stop this woke liberal mob, but he makes sure to emphasize that it's about getting content.
I want you posting on Instagram and Twitter.
Homeland Security shows up, led by the beautiful Kristi Noem, to come support the Department of War. Instead of working together and making plans, they just fight over whose content this is. Cartman has managed to lure Token to the turkey trot, and he's pissed, because Token is not even catching up to him.
I am trying! I told you! I'm not a runner!
Cartman just thinks that Token is messing with him, which is hilarious. He can't just accept the fact that someone who's black isn't a good runner. Homeland Security now has a clear view of the runners, but of course, Kristi Noem decides to do Kristi Noem things. The racers are now approaching the Department of War, and Hegseth is now ready for the attack against this violent, woke mob. He makes his final stand and deploys some tear gas, and the race becomes complete chaos. Randy runs into a nearby building, and everyone inside starts fighting about how they need to win this race. They start strategizing a way to avoid the tear gas and win the race. They argue that taking shortcuts would be fine as long as it's okay with Saudi Arabia. Randy then asks another guy in the shop if it would be okay to take a shortcut.
There's no way to be sure what Saudi Arabia wants. All I know is I need their money.
I feel like I'm supposed to know who this is or who they're referencing. I've got no clue. So if you want some fake internet points, go ahead and write it in the comments if you know. We then get a hype compilation of Pete Hegseth arresting everyone at the best cover of Danger Zone I've ever heard, and also the only one. But this song's going to be stuck in my head for at least a few weeks. Yates then confronts him, and Hegseth puts up his tough guy act. Throughout this entire episode, Yates and Mitch look at him as a complete joke, making the most incompetent police officers ever just assert dominance over him throughout this episode was a power move by Matt and Trey. Token eventually finds Cartman through the gas, and he gets his Xbox back. Cartman tries to guilt him, saying how this could have been an amazing Thanksgiving for Kenny and Stan, who are obviously struggling right now.
Just because I'm black doesn't mean I run fast! Yes, you do!
Cartman then accuses Token of having a problem with Saudi Arabia joining the global community. By this point, Token is fed up with Cartman's bigotry and decides to go home. He starts walking backwards so he can keep yelling at Cartman for being racist, and he manages to walk right through the finish line.
Oh, God damn it. Yes! Race science! Race science!
That might be my favorite clip of the year. It cuts to the mayor introducing Token's team as the winner of the South Park Turkey Trot. The look on Token's face is just comedy gold. We then see that Yates is putting Pete Hegseth in his place, throwing him in jail with Peter Thiel. Hegseth warns them that the president is going to come for them.
They're all gonna pay.
This actually felt like a more classic South Park episode, but with modern social commentary. The Cartman and Token storyline really reminded me of the episode where Cartman couldn't fathom that Token had never seen Black Panther. I feel like for most of the episodes this year, Cartman hasn't been utilized the best. The season 27 premiere was actually the only really good Cartman storyline in my opinion. Yeah, he was funny every time he appeared, but for an actual storyline, this is easily the best Cartman episode of the year, at least in my opinion. It's probably one of the better Thanksgiving episodes as well. I think compared to the Christmas and Halloween specials over the years, the Thanksgiving specials haven't been as good. If the Black Friday trilogy counts, that's definitely better, but that shit is peak. But in terms of specific Thanksgiving specials, call me crazy, but this one is up there. I immediately wanted to rewatch this episode right after it was finished, and I can't say that about every episode this year. Rewatchability is very important to me, and this episode is very rewatchable. So I think we're all expecting for the Trump and Satan baby storyline to conclude in the next episode, and I really hope it does. It's the last episode of the year, and I don't think many people want this storyline to continue whenever season 29 starts. They're involving Trump less and less. He only appeared in this episode for like 30 seconds. I really don't mind seeing Trump as long as it's funny. I just can't take another season with him serialized in every episode. I think most people would agree with this by now. This is just clear proof that they don't need to keep making Trump part of the main storyline, because this episode was insanely good in my eyes. I can't believe we only have one episode left. I'm really looking forward to how it ends, but I'm also excited to start making my older style videos again. A lot to look forward to. If you guys reached this point in the video, I am non-ironically asking you to like and subscribe. I guess part of me is a douchebag like Pete Hegseth. I'll see you guys in the next one.